The skies turned an eerie purple as the massive alien ships arrived without warning. They were huge, like floating mountains made of metal and strange glowing crystals. People all over Earth stopped and stared up at them. Some ran in fear. Others took videos with their phones. No one knew what they wanted. Then it began. The air felt thinner. Hospitals reported people having trouble breathing. Birds fell from the sky. Within days, scientists confirmed the terrible truth. Oxygen levels were dropping worldwide. Taiho stood at the window of his apartment in Seoul, watching people rush to buy oxygen masks. As the head scientist at Korea's space agency, he had been called to an emergency meeting. His phone buzzed. It was his sister, Nari. "Are you seeing this?" she asked, panic in her voice. "The news says the aliens are stealing our air." "I'm heading to the research center now," Taiho said, grabbing his coat. "Stay inside. Use as little oxygen as possible." At the research center, the situation was worse than he imagined. Monitors showed massive extraction beams pulling oxygen molecules directly from the atmosphere. The aliens, now called the Etherians, had placed 7 huge platforms around Earth. Each one could suck out as much oxygen as a small country used in a year, in just one day. Professor Minho, the oldest scientist there, pointed at the screens. "At this rate, we have 2 months before oxygen levels become too low for human survival." President Sunwoo appeared on the emergency broadcast system. "Citizens of Earth, we face our greatest challenge. The world's governments are working together. Stay calm. Use oxygen supplies wisely," but people weren't calm. Riots broke out. Oxygen mask prices skyrocketed. The military tried to attack the alien platforms, but their ships couldn't even get close. The Etherians' force field stopped all missiles and planes. Taiho worked day and night in the underground lab. One night, while studying the alien technology, he noticed something. "Look at this energy pattern," he told his team. "When they extract oxygen, there's a frequency pulse. It's like a signature." His colleague Ji-yun leaned closer. "Can we use this?" "Maybe," Taiho said. "Every technology has a weakness." Meanwhile, Nari joined the local survival group. They sealed off an old subway station and set up oxygen recyclers. Food was rationed. Children were given priority for oxygen masks. The elderly volunteered to use less. "We need to fight back," a young man named Hyuk said during one meeting. "I heard the military is building special ships in a secret base." Nari thought of her brother. "Is that true?" Above them, the purple sky grew darker as more oxygen disappeared. Plants began dying. Forests caught fire easier. The oceans changed color as marine life struggled. Earth was being slowly suffocated. 1 month after the invasion, Taiho made a breakthrough. The aliens' technology created a specific frequency when extracting oxygen, and that frequency could be disrupted. He rushed to the military headquarters beneath Mount Hala. There, he met Admiral Junho, who showed him something incredible. 5 massive warships being built in secret caves. The Dreadnought project, Junho explained. Ships designed to operate without oxygen, but we lacked a way to attack the aliens effectively. Taiho held up his device. Until now. The next day, the world leaders met virtually. The Chinese premier spoke first. "Oxygen levels are at 70% of normal. We cannot wait any longer." The American president nodded. "Launch the Dreadnoughts." Across Earth, billions of struggling humans looked up as the ground shook. From 5 hidden bases, Earth's secret weapons emerged. The Dreadnoughts were unlike any ships humans had built before, black, angular, and massive. Each carried weapons designed based on Taiho's discovery. Admiral Junho stood on the bridge of the lead Dreadnought. "All ships, prepare for humanity's first strike. Today we fight for our right to breathe." As the Dreadnoughts rose toward the alien platforms, people everywhere held their breath, what little they had left of it. The future of Earth depended on these 5 ships and the brave people inside them. The battle for Earth's oxygen was about to begin. Deep beneath the Himalayas, in bunkers built decades ago for a nuclear war that never came, humanity planned its survival. The massive underground complex hummed with activity as the best minds from every country worked together for the first time in history. Admiral Junho stood before a holographic display of Earth. Red zones marked areas where oxygen levels had already fallen below safe limits. Nearly half the map glowed red. "We have 6 weeks before the planet becomes unlivable," he told the gathered scientists and military leaders. "Project Dreadnought is our only hope." Behind him, engineers worked on 5 massive ships. Each was as large as an aircraft carrier, but designed for space. They looked like ancient sea creatures, sleek, dark, and menacing with sharp angles that absorbed rather than reflected light. Taeho walked through the construction area with Ji-yun. "The ships run on nuclear power," he explained. "No oxygen needed for combustion, and the life support systems recycle all air inside." "But how will they penetrate the alien shields?" Ji-yun asked. Taeho smiled and led her to a sealed laboratory. Inside sat a strange device. "This will disrupt their extraction frequency. When activated, it should create a window in their shields." Outside the bunker, the world was suffering. People moved into caves, subway tunnels, and sealed buildings. Oxygen masks became more valuable than gold. Special filters were built for homes, but they couldn't keep up with the rapid decline. Nari helped set up a medical station in her community shelter. Many elderly people refused to use the limited oxygen, giving their share to children instead. She treated a young boy who had given his mask to his sister. "You're very brave," she told him as she checked his breathing. "My dad is working on the big ships," the boy whispered. "He says they'll save us." In another part of the bunker, Dr. Sunmi worked on something equally important. She had developed implants that would help humans use oxygen more efficiently. "It won't solve the problem," she told Admiral Junho, "but it will buy us more time." The first volunteers received the implants. Most were soldiers who would crew the Dreadnoughts. The surgery was painful, but it allowed them to breathe the thinning air. 4 weeks after the invasion, the Etherians sent down their first ground forces. They looked almost human, except for their gray skin and large black eyes. They wore no breathing apparatus, suggesting they didn't need oxygen to survive. Hayuk led a resistance team against an alien patrol in what used to be downtown Seoul. The aliens moved slowly in Earth's gravity, giving humans an advantage in close combat. His team managed to capture one alive. Scientists studied the captured alien and made a surprising discovery. "They breathe nitrogen," Taeho explained during the emergency meeting. "Their planet must have very little oxygen. They're not just attacking us, they're terraforming Earth for colonization." Admiral Junho pointed to the Dreadnought plans. "Then we need to finish these ships now, not just to save Earth, but to take the fight to them." The work accelerated. People volunteered for dangerous jobs. Nations shared their most closely guarded technological secrets. Former enemies worked side by side. Captain Minji, chosen to lead one of the Dreadnoughts, underwent the implant surgery. As she recovered, she studied the ship's systems. "We're calling my ship Hope," she told Taeho when he visited her. "What? Will you name the weapon you've created?" "Breath," he said simply, "because that's what it will give back to Earth." 3 days before the first scheduled launch, oxygen levels fell to 40% of normal. People were collapsing in the streets. Plants were dying worldwide. The oceans turned darker as marine life perished. In the main control room, world leaders gathered for one final meeting. The American president looked grim. "We just lost New Orleans, the entire city. Everyone suffocated." "Then we launch tomorrow," said Admiral Junho. "Ready or not?" Engineers worked through the night making final adjustments. Soldiers said goodbye to families. The first crews boarded their ships. Taeho embraced his sister before heading to his station. "Stay strong," he told her. "Bring back our air," she replied. The next morning, as dawn broke over a gasping world, 5 mountain peaks split open. The Dreadnoughts rose into the purple sky, humanity's last and greatest hope. Dawn broke over a dying world. The sky had turned a deep purple, almost black in some places. Birds no longer flew. Trees stood bare. their leaves fallen and brown. People moved slowly, conserving every breath. 6 months had passed since the Etherians began stealing Earth's oxygen. Now, 5 dreadnoughts rose from their hidden bases, sleek black shapes against the dark sky. On the bridge of the lead ship, Courage, Admiral Junho watched Earth grow smaller below them. His chest ached from the implant surgery, but the pain reminded him why they fought. Each breath was precious now. "All ships report ready," said his communications officer, Dongho. The young man's face was pale, but his voice stayed steady. "Begin approach to Target Alpha," Junho ordered. Target Alpha was the largest extraction platform, hovering over the Pacific Ocean. From it, a purple beam stretched down to the sea, pulling oxygen molecules directly from the water. The 5 dreadnoughts moved in formation, their engines silent, in the vacuum of space. They carried no traditional weapons. Missiles and lasers had proven useless against the alien shields. Instead, each ship carried Taeho's special device, the breath. In the science bay, Taeho checked the device one last time. "The frequency disruptor is calibrated," he told Jiyeon. "When we're close enough, it should create a gap in their shields for about 3 minutes." "And then?" she asked. "Then we deliver the electromagnetic pulse. If my calculations are correct, it will overload their extraction systems." Captain Minji's voice came over the comm from her ship. "Hope, we're detecting movement. The Etherians have noticed us." Small alien fighters launched from the extraction platform. They moved quickly, their purple engines leaving strange trails in the vacuum. "They don't think we're a threat," Junho said. "They've destroyed all our previous attacks easily. They don't know about the breath." The alien fighters fired first. Strange energy bolts hit the dreadnoughts' hulls. The ships shuddered but held together. "Shields at 80%, reported Dongho. "We can take more hits." "Move to attack position," Junho ordered. "All ships, prepare to activate the breath on my mark." The 5 human ships spread out, surrounding the massive alien platform. More fighters launched, but they seemed confused by the humans' strategy. The dreadnoughts weren't attacking, just positioning themselves. On Earth below, billions watched on whatever screen still worked. In the underground shelter, Nari held the hand of the brave little boy she had treated. "Look," she told him. "That's where your father is. They're fighting for us. Will they win?" the boy asked. Nari squeezed his hand. "They have to." In orbit, the dreadnoughts reached their positions. "All ships in position," Minji reported. "Activate the breath, now," Junho commanded. On all 5 ships, Taeho's device hummed to life. It emitted no visible beam, no dramatic light. But in the command center, they could see the alien shield flickering. "It's working," Jiyeon shouted. "The shield is destabilizing. Launch pulse charges," Junho ordered. From each dreadnought, a small projectile shot toward the extraction platform. They passed through the weakened shields and attached to the platform's surface. The alien fighters swarmed now, realizing too late the danger. They fired desperately at the human ships. "Shields failing on ships 3 and 4, Dongho reported. 30 seconds until pulse detonation." "Hold position," Junho said, gripping his chair as the ship shook from another hit. Kikino. Seconds counted down. Alien weapons fire intensified. On the dreadnought Hope, a breach opened in the hull. Emergency systems activated, sealing off sections. 10 seconds, Taeho announced. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The pulse charges activated simultaneously. A wave of energy rippled across the alien platform. Its lights flickered, then went dark. The purple extraction beam vanished. For a moment, silence filled the command center. Then Dongho looked up from his console, his eyes wide. "We did it," he whispered. "The platform is inactive." Cheers erupted across all 5 ships. On Earth below, people watched as the dark beam that had been stealing their air disappeared. For the first time in months, hope returned, but Admiral Junho didn't celebrate. He was looking at the long-range scanners. "We've won the first battle," he said quietly. "But the war has just begun. Look, on the screen, Dozens of large shapes appeared, moving toward Earth from the direction of Mars. The Etherian armada was coming. The victory against the first extraction platform gave Earth a precious gift: time. Oxygen levels stabilized, no longer dropping but still dangerously low. People could breathe a little easier, but the war was far from over. Admiral Jun-Ho stood before the holographic display in the dreadnought Courage. The alien armada approached, 30 large warships, each bigger than Earth's largest dreadnought. "They're angry now," he told his officers. "We've hurt them. They didn't expect that." 7 more dreadnoughts had joined the original 5. Shipyards, hidden under the ocean, had worked day and night to complete them. Captain Minji, her face still bandaged from injuries sustained in the first battle, pointed to the display. "Their ships are gathering here near the moon. They're planning something big." Taeho entered the bridge, his eyes bright with excitement. "Admiral, we've made a breakthrough. Dr. Ji-Yeon has been analyzing their communication signals." Ji-Yeon stepped forward holding a tablet. "The Etherians use a specific frequency to communicate between ships. We've decoded enough to locate their homeworld." She pointed to a star on the display. "It's here, about 10 light years away." "How does this help us now?" Jun-Ho asked. "Because we now understand their language," Taeho explained. "We can send false orders to confuse their fleet." On Earth below, things were changing. With one extraction platform destroyed, people could venture outside again, though only with breathing masks. Plants began to recover slowly. Hope returned. Nari worked with Hyuk and the resistance to attack alien ground forces. They had discovered the Etherians moved slowly in Earth's gravity, giving humans an advantage in close combat. "We captured their weapons," Hyuk told his team, holding up an alien device. "They use sound waves, not bullets. And we've learned they can't see well in bright light." Resistance fighters began using flashbangs and sirens to disorient the aliens before attacking. Small victories accumulated. Humans reclaimed cities one street at a time. In orbit, Admiral Jun-Ho prepared for the counteroffensive. The dreadnoughts had been retrofitted with new weapons based on captured alien technology. Each ship now carried sound cannons and devices that could manipulate gravity. "All ships, move into formation," Jun-Ho ordered. "Remember the plan. Use Earth's gravity to increase your speed." The 12 human ships moved into position, then dropped toward Earth at incredible speed. As they swung around the planet, Earth's gravity accelerated them like a slingshot. They shot toward the alien fleet faster than any human ships had ever moved before. The Etherian ships fired, but the dreadnoughts were moving too quickly. They split into 3 groups, each targeting a different section of the alien fleet. On Courage, Admiral Jun-Ho held tight to his chair as G-forces pushed against him. "Fire gravity disruptors, now!" The new weapons activated. Around the targeted alien ships, space itself seemed to warp. The massive vessels slowed, then began to drift apart, their formation broken. "Sound cannons, full power," Jun-Ho ordered. Invisible waves shot from the dreadnoughts. The alien ships shuddered as the sound attacked their hulls, creating vibrations that tore through metal. 3 alien warships exploded in silent bursts of light. The others began to retreat, but Captain Minji's squadron cut off their escape route. "We have them trapped between us and Earth's gravity well," she reported. "Orders?" Admiral Jun-Ho looked at Taeho. "Can your breath device work on their ships?" "If we get close enough," Taeho replied. "But it's risky." "Do it," Jun-Ho decided. "This is our chance to end this." The dreadnoughts closed in. Alien weapons. Fire intensified, damaging 2 human ships. But the others pressed forward, activating their breath devices simultaneously. The effect was immediate. Alien shields failed. Their engines sputtered and died. "Now," Jun-Ho ordered. All 12 dreadnoughts fired every weapon they had. The alien fleet erupted in explosions. When the light faded, only 7 enemy ships remained, retreating toward Mars. On the bridge, the crew cheered, but Admiral Jun-Ho stared at the star map, at the dot marking the alien homeworld. "The real battle isn't over," he said quietly. "They'll send more ships. We need to take the fight to them, to their home." Taiho nodded. I was afraid you'd say that. The journey to the Etherian homeworld was humanity's greatest gamble. 12 dreadnoughts carrying Earth's best soldiers, scientists, and leaders prepared for a hyperspace jump that had never been attempted before. In the main chamber of Courage, Admiral Junho addressed the fleet crews through a video link. His face looked older now, lined with the stress of 6 months of war. We know the location of their homeworld. We know their weakness. What we do not know is if we will return. But we go to ensure Earth's survival. Taiho and Jian had modified the ship's engines for the incredible journey. The new drive would compress space itself, allowing them to travel 10 light-years in just days instead of decades. The calculations must be perfect, Taiho explained to Admiral Junho. Even a small error could send us into a star or nowhere at all. On Earth, recovery efforts continued. The destroyed extraction platforms had released some of the stolen oxygen back into the atmosphere. People planted fast-growing trees and algae farms to produce more. Children could play outside again, though still with breathing masks. Nari visited the command bunker to say goodbye to her brother before the mission. You've done enough, she told him. Let someone else go. Taiho shook his head. The jump drive needs constant adjustment. I have to be there. They embraced one last time, both knowing it might be the final time. The fleet departed Earth orbit the next day. As they reached the jump point near Jupiter, Dongho counted down from his station. Jump in 5 on 4, 3, 2, 1. The stars stretched into lines, then vanished. The ships entered a tunnel of swirling light. Crew members held on, as the ships shuddered under forces never before experienced by human vessels. 3 days later, they emerged around a strange red star. Before them hung a planet, gray, barren with thin clouds. The Etherian homeworld. Scans show very little oxygen in their atmosphere, Jian reported. Mostly nitrogen, like we suspected. And their defenses? Junho asked. Massive. Orbital platforms, defense satellites, hundreds of ships. They had expected this. What they hadn't expected was what happened next. A transmission reached them. In perfect Korean. Humans of Earth. You have surprised us. We did not believe you. Capable of following us here. The alien voice sounded mechanical, likely translated. You face extinction if you attack. Junho looked at his officers, then responded. You began the extinction when you stole our oxygen. We are here to end this war. The Etherian responded instantly. We took what we needed to survive. Our world is dying. Our atmosphere cannot sustain us anymore. Taiho, listening from the science bay, suddenly understood. They're desperate, he told Junho. Like us. Junho considered this. Then he made a decision that would change 2 worlds forever. We offer an alternative to war, he transmitted. Earth has technology to create oxygen efficiently. We will share this knowledge if you return what you've taken and leave our world in peace. Silence stretched for minutes. Then the alien responded. This is possible? You would share rather than destroy? We would. Because we understand desperation. The negotiation lasted days. The Etherians, it turned out, had been searching for a new home for centuries. Their atmosphere had been degrading for generations. Earth, with its oxygen-rich air, seemed a perfect solution, regardless of its current inhabitants. Taiho and Jian worked with Etherian scientists to design a plan. Earth's algae farms and forest renewal projects could produce enough oxygen for both worlds. Special atmospheric processors could be built on the Etherian planet. 1 month later, the Dreadnoughts returned to Earth, accompanied by Etherian ships, not as invaders, but as allies. The remaining extraction platforms were reprogrammed, now transferring oxygen from Earth to the alien world at a sustainable rate that wouldn't harm either planet. In Seoul, Nari watched her brother step off the ship, looking tired but triumphant. Behind him walked an Etherian diplomat moving carefully in Earth's gravity. You brought one back? She asked, surprised. We brought back a future, Taiho said. For both our kinds. The recovery took years. Earth's atmosphere slowly healed. The Etherians shared technologies beyond human understanding. Humans taught them about adaptation and resilience. And the Dreadnoughts? They remained, a symbol of humanity's determination. Guardian ships of a new alliance between two worlds that had nearly destroyed each other, but instead chose to breathe together. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.